my bosoms.
Are you seducing yourself right now?
Yeah, I'm seducing myself. I'm looking myself in the camera and go, oh my God, they gonna fall out.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh, they gonna fall. We can't have that. I know where my nipples are. The nipples aren't going anywhere. I want everyone to know this. They're not going anywhere.
I wasn't worried, but now I am. All of you audio-only listeners are missing out on a show. She is looking. We're looking at ourselves on camera, and she is giving herself the eye.
Shake 'em, Rita. Shake 'em.
I think that actually,
we're both giving it today.
We're popping today.
Yeah, we're popping.
I'm wearing my summer court dress that I didn't get to wear in time last time, so my Adriata.
You look great. You look amazing.
Oh my God, you look amazing.
Oh, you stop. What are we really getting into this fashion over here?
Maybe a little too much.
Maybe a little too much. I mean, I will say it's getting easier and easier to put these ears on, and I'm starting to think implants. I think I'm going to go
It would
for
just, it would save a couple minutes every morning for you.
And isn't that worth it in the long run?
Yeah.
Did I get into an Uber with Faye earrings on earlier? Ears on? Yes, I did.
Did they say anything?
No. I made them really apparent, too, because I kind of wanted them to say something, but they didn't say anything about it.
I think being an Uber driver in Los Angeles,
you've seen
you
worse.
don't want to start a conversation with somebody wearing elf ears.
No, because I will talk about it.
It's a long conversation.
You want to hear about ACOTAR? We've been talking about it for how many hours at this point?
God. This is my life now. It's my life. And I don't hate it.
No.
I do think I am starting to detach from reality to a point where it could become unhealthy. But what's healthy?
Worth it.
What's healthy?
What is healthy? And who's giving us these guidelines? What, doctors? No, get out of here.
Yeah,
go back to school, okay?
Yeah, nerd.
Yeah, I graduated college at 20 and I didn't look back. No higher learning for me.
What else could you possibly need to learn?
I'm done. I took breathing classes. I know about that. I cried while the teacher went, breathe from here. And I'm like, say, can you see?
It's very fun that us theater and dance majors took breathing classes in college. Breathing classes. Okay.
Yeah, but I also took up mask work as well. Using your body to create a character.
Oh.
Without using your face.
Even here. Who is this?
This is when my arms are like Robin's family in Batman and Robin.
What?
Remember, they're all trapeze. There's a trapeze family.
Oh, from the movie from the 90s.
Yes, the trapeze family.
Trapeze. Of course. Silly me.
That was on you, Natalie.
I know, that was on me.
You're looking too beautiful today. It's sapping you of your brain power.
know.
We know we can't have both.
I know.
The government tells us that.
I don't want to think about stuff today.
Nah, we don't have to. We don't want to think about stuff today. We can kiss pillows instead.
We can't. We have to do this.
Oh, okay. Well, we could get some pillows in here and slap a couple tongues in there.
I think Ryan could sue us.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, Ryan. All right. We won't start sucking on pillows. Now my pillow's all wet.
We're having a Friday. When we last left off, the gang was on pretty rocky terms.
Man, there's going to be lots of rocky things happening today.
They're all upset with each other.
Yeah.
Reese has done something that's pretty diabolical that involves working alongside the two males who Moore probably hates more than anybody.
Yes, and he didn't tell her about it beforehand.
Yeah, Kier and Eris. Are you kidding me, Reese? Both males have not only been disrespectful to Feyre, Eris, if you'll recall, just physically attacked Feyre and dragged her by her hair. And I mean, look, they can handle it. They're strong, but still.
But still doesn't mean we like them.
No.
We don't want them around. We don't want to be besties with them being like, yeah, I got your back.
No, with Eris, gross. So when they all land back at the townhouse from the Court of Nightmares, Moore finally shows her true emotions. Tears pour down her face. Why, she wants to know, She's not only sad, she's furious.
Poor girl.
No. Rhys goes on to say that Eris found Azriel and that they had to strike a deal, like kind of what he insinuated before. I'm not actually sure what he's referencing. I think he means Az was spying and Eris saw him, but maybe I'm missing something. But Feyre seems
Or maybe Azriel just knows more about Eris.
Maybe.
Is that possible?
You know?
About where his truth lies?
Maybe. Good thoughts.
Yes, I got a couple good thoughts rattling around in there. It's like Yahtzee up in my brain.
Ooh.
Yahtzee. What are you supposed to get in Yahtzee? Snake eyes?
I don't remember. I think it's sick.
I just remember I used to play Disney Yahtzee where all the characters were the different sides. And so I was like, I got 4 minis.
And you still get furious and throw the game.
Yeah, throw the dice. And be like, well, you don't get the Donald Duck this time.
Well, Rhys catches Cassian up mind to mind because he didn't go to the Hewn City, if you'll recall. And Cassian's super pissed. Basically, nobody wants Rhys to do this, which is most likely the reason that he did it.
And why he didn't tell anybody, yeah.
Lucian, his own brother, agrees that working with Eris is probably a bad idea. But we also know a bit about Eris from the end of the last chapter, and he claims that he was actually protecting Lucian from the other family members and also was trying to help more. So what's up with that? We don't know yet.
What is up with that?
What is up with that? Until Ammren steps in because there's all of this tension and like people are getting really, really like overwhelmed. She acknowledges that she hates the Vensaris clan, but fairly points out that if Eris is to win the throne of the Autumn Court, he may be a better alternative to Baron.
I mean, we really hate Baron.
Yeah. Baron, yeah.
Baron, right?
I think so. But Moore is distraught about more than just the dislike of the males. It's that they want to come and violate her city, her sanctuary. Rhys doesn't act smug or defensive in his response, but he tells her that he has put precautions in place that you don't have to be that worried about it. That the leaders of the city are not going to serve or cater to anyone from the Court of Nightmares, and that they will find Valaris inhospitable, essentially like pulling trickeries on them.
Oh.
She doesn't think it matters, and I tend to agree that they would find some way to screw up.
Yeah, they're like pure evil.
Yeah.
Why would you ever trust them? But I also, though, if there's someone that I trust the most, it's Rhys. And I do think that he's probably going to, I mean, he did keep Valaris a secret that entire time. I mean, I think that he's pretty good at like, okay, maybe he could set it up so that they're never going to want to come back.
Yeah, I mean, he's also the most powerful lord ever and like 600 years old. So, I mean, I trust him. But also, the other side, do you think Sammy Faye isn't going to cause a big mess in Valaris?
Oh my God, you're right. She's going to start fist pumping. She's going to start taking Jell-O shots, and she's going to get in there, and she's going to show her kuka.
It's going to be sloppy at the very least.
It's scary when they start showing their kukas. Skirts right up too high. They got to get up on chairs, you know?
I think that maybe that is, you shouldn't do that, even if you have the innie and not the outie down there.
How do you feel about a kuka? Do you refer to your kuka as a kuka?
Never once in my life.
Oh.
Never once.
How do you think you're going to start?
No.
You know what? I'm glad that we just live by our truths here.
Mm-hmm.
I will say my partner doesn't enjoy it when I refer to it as my kuka.
No, I wouldn't imagine. I wouldn't imagine.
It's only when it's showing, though.
Oh, no.
Which is the time you're not supposed to call it a
when
kuka.
he's the most excited. Yeah. Let's just throw a cog in the wheel there. So then Morsh says, Morsh. I just said Morsh.
Morsh. Oh, yeah, she's like borscht, though. So she's like a cold soup.
Yeah, she's
of
Russian.
A woman.
She could be Russian. Then Morsh.
She should slow down. Come on. Yeah, I still got it.
Or says a harsh thing. What if she had decided to work with Amarantha Rhys? What if she went to Amarantha and made a plan behind Rhys's back, how would he feel about that? This is not something that any of them ever bring up. Certainly, they don't befoul their space with her name. The room's temperature goes down a few degrees.
You went really down really fast, so I get it.
Yeah.
I approached Rhys's side, brushing my fingers against his own curled around mine.
If Amarantha showed up at that door right now,
Rhys snarled, pointing toward the foyer entry,
and said she could buy us a chance at defeating Hybern, at keeping all of you alive, I would thank the fucking Cauldron.
Moore shook her head, tears slipping free again.
You don't mean that. But Rhys says that he does. Feyre tries to reach out to him through the bond.
But the bond, the bridge between us, it was a howling void, a raging, dark tempest.
So this is getting to a place of heightened emotions to the point that the cousins who have worked together for so many centuries are both reaching a breaking point, that this is very emotional for both of them. And then little Ammren steps in. She tells Rhys that she kept them together for the 49 years he was gone, and she'll do it now. She tells Moore that after the war, she will hunt down the Venserys and kill them all if that's what she wants. And Moore says it doesn't matter, that her father will poison this city no matter what. But Feyre decides that she believes Ammren, that Ammren will make sure that we're all gonna be okay. I've just put myself into the inner circle in first person now, so that's where I am.
That's where you are emotionally. We are all gonna be okay.
We're gonna be okay because of Ammren.
And I think Moore did too, for the tears that continued sliding free. They seemed to shift somehow. So everyone's believing in Ammren.
I mean,
I would.
Yeah. And they obviously have a healthy fear of her, but she obviously has some form of care for them, whatever that is, for whatever creature she is.
And just imagining the power of knowing when she says, I will hunt them all down and I will kill all of them, that she means it.
Oh yeah, she will.
She means it.
She ain't care.
Mm-mm.
So Feyre feels Rhys's devastation at knowing he's crushing his cousin right now. And he
knew this was going to happen.
He did. It's hard to be a lord.
I know, and he's so good at being a high lord.
He is. Feyre tries to comfort him mind to mind. Ammren says to Rhys that he is a bastard for hiding all of this from them, but ultimately it was the right call. I'm sorry, he says to both Moore and Ammren.
Thank you, Rhys. Not every High Lord is going to just apologize for what they do.
No, and he's saying it, I think, in a way that he means it, where sometimes people can go, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I am sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry. So when they say it like that, maybe don't believe them.
I don't think that they're sorry. I think that they're having a pity party for themselves. Mm-hmm. Not that I've ever done that.
No.
Henry would attest that I've never done that in our marriage.
Bring him in here. What if I just had Henry shackled up just in case we needed him to say something during the show?
I would wonder how he got here and when. Because
Gimp mask.
Gimp mask. That is upsetting. I don't like any of that.
We'll unzip his mouth when we ask him.
Oh no, God. This is getting into weird people under the stairs territory. Everything's not fine and dandy now, but Feyre correctly asserts that they must stand together during this precarious time, that they can't break apart through anger in this, very fragile moment before the war. Cassian asks her about the mirror because, if you'll recall, she also needed to request the Ouroboros from the Court of Nightmares. And she explains what was told to her, which is that it's pretty much impossible. And Moore confirms that her dad is not making up the information about the mirror, that she grew up knowing of it. Suddenly, Ammren interrupts. You are talking about the Ouroboros.
Uh-oh.
Whoopsie.
Uh-oh, no one told Ammren.
Because they were trying to keep from her that they were visiting the prison. And they let it slip because she kind of is going to assume some things from them knowing about the mirror. And now they're about to find out what happens when Ammren knows. So she begins questioning them in a quiet voice, which isn't always a great sign.
No, I think quiet is so much. I'd rather get yelled at. Don't get quiet to me. Quiet is so much more disappointment.
Also, I don't know, more unhinged somehow. Like, if you're that angry and you're talking like this.
Ooh.
I don't like that.
Tiny mouth.
Tiny mouth.
And then I start talking like this. My mouth can't get any smaller.
It is really little.
Thank you.
You got it really small.
Yeah, I can get it pretty small.
It's from your mask work.
Yeah. Although they couldn't see my lips.
Who?
The people watching me with my mask work. We put on a workshop.
Oh, okay.
Play the play, Natalie.
I apologize. So when Ammren begins questioning them, she works out that they wanted to release the Carver and doesn't seem super happy about it. And if an ancient monster isn't happy about something, you better look out.
Yeah, man. I trust what Ammren says. And in fact, like, if there's someone like Ammren in your life and you're like, let's not let Ammren know, I think that should be the first signal of, like, we should probably talk to Ammren about this.
Yeah, or if you're that afraid of one of your friends, you maybe shouldn't hang out with them.
Why? I'm terrified of you, Natalie. Ah! No!
Because I always, all of our conversations and laughter turns into content.
That's why I'm scared. Just in case I say something I shouldn't. Because you lay about your snares.
I do. I put out my snares and you are the Suriel.
Aw, cute.
Yeah. Hot Suriel Halloween costume.
Oh my, yeah, with big tits. Just a cereal, just with like my tits hanging out.
Yeah. Just saying, putting it out there.
And my kuka.
No, don't put your...
Cereal's got a kuka. Cereal's got a kuka.
Interesting choice of song as that is about a child molesting father.
That's... All right, maybe I'll come up with a different song about the cereal's kuka.
Okay, good. But so when this happens, Rhys takes the tactic of kind of matching her energy where he's going more into a cocky area. He, sometimes when he's doing his High Lord stuff, he becomes like, this Rhys. Oh, well, Ammren. So he suggests that she finally come clean about how she escaped from the prison. And this is like centuries of not asking her. So this is kind of a big deal. And everyone's sort of taking a defensive stance. Cassian actually motions for Nesta to stand behind him. And surprisingly, Nesta obeys in that moment. Rhys and Ammren have a stare-off. And then Ammren says, no. It wasn't a request,
Rhys said.
Oh, Rhys, baby, what are you doing? Things are tense. Rhys reminds us that he offered to send Ammren home with the book, if that's what she'd like. Her silence is deafening enough that Azriel starts to grip his weapons, and he's ready to jump into the middle of it. Uh-oh. Rhys continues to push her, knowing that this is well beyond the normal amount they ever test Ammren.
Cassian casually slid Nesta behind him, his fingers snagging in the skirts of her black gown. As if to reassure himself that she wasn't in Ammren's direct path, Nesta only rose onto her toes to peer over his shoulder.
Which I thought was kind of charming because Nesta doesn't usually allow herself to be vulnerable.
But also he's so big that she has to get up on her toes to see over his shoulder. He's just so big.
Yeah. I thought it was a cute moment.
Yeah.
Then Ammren...
I'd make it horny, of course.
I mean, of course. It's also that. Then Ammren reveals the real reason she doesn't speak of her escape from the prison, because she doesn't want the prison to remember she's gone. That if it hears her talk of it, she will get thrown into the black cell once again.
Yikes.
Rizan shields all of the rooms, saying that no one outside of this bubble will be able to hear. After consideration, she begins to explain. It's still sort of nebulous, but she says that she had to bind herself into another form, had to give up herself to leave.
Whoa, what does that mean?
The group thought that someone else had done that to her, but she says she lied and that she actually did it herself. She summoned some part of something somewhere and it bonded into her, and she gave away herself to become somebody else to leave.
In my head, before she was inside of a fae, she looked like the pollution in Fern Gully.
Aww.
Remember?
Yes.
Yeah, just like a
Why do I
big...
think that's cute?
I think it's just like, I always thought, I kind of like the pollution.
I mean, it's fun.
I mean, he's kind of sexy. I know it's bad and pollution is bad, but don't get me wrong. The pollution was a little sexy. He's all like syrupy and he was all like dripping through the grates.
I mean, it's a seduction. It's a form of seduction.
I'm pretty sure that's why Taylor Swift loves to use her private jets as much as she does.
Oh,
she's sexually attracted to the pollution.
All right, that makes sense.
See, at least we get to the bottom of some things here.
And that's what I just want to figure out what Taylor Swift is thinking. That's why we do the show.
Yeah. It's all for her.
Yeah. And
Sarah J. Maas.
Oh, yeah, I guess. So the body of Ammren that she formed is mortal, actually, compared to the lifespan of who she used to be. So she's such an aged creature that an immortal fae body is like very short lifespan compared to her former self. And what she was, we don't really fully know, but we get the knowledge that she came from another plane of existence and that she didn't actually fit in there when she was there. I did not feel the way you do, the way I do now. Some things, loyalty and wrath and curiosity, but not the full spectrum.
Again, that faraway look.
I was perfect, according to some.
Must be nice.
Must be nice, huh?
Oh, you're just a perfect gaseous state. Okay, cool.
But she's basically saying that they didn't have real emotions, but she kind of did. For her species, she felt more than the others did, and she was curious. It sounds like whatever she was like a form of a war predator.
Sick.
Yeah. Her backstory is interesting because it goes into a couple details that I don't believe are referenced anywhere else unless I'm missing something. But she says that her, quote, brothers and sisters had laid waste to twin cities just then, that their ruler had like instructed them to destroy these two twin cities. And when they did it, it like ripped a hole in their world. And she was curious. Most of her brothers and sisters ran far from it, but she got curious and she wanted to see what was inside the rip. And she wanted. And the creatures that she didn't want normally. I do wonder what the reference to the Twin Cities is, or if there's something we all will learn about that in a different series. Because I wondered for a minute if it fit into Crescent City at all. There are a couple lines at the very end of the second book that make a girl question some stuff. And there is a scene in Crescent City where the monster's pouring out of a portal from hell.
Yeah.
But it's not really hell.
Yeah, it's just like a different place.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I'm wondering.
Well, that's the thing. If you think about it, it's like, okay, there's a rip, which means she was in some sort of other realm that at least is connected. So does that mean that all realms are connected to each other? Or does that mean that there's certain like tunnels through other places? Like the fact that she looked into the rip and then got trapped there kind of makes me think of Christina Aguilera looking at herself in the river when she's singing that Mulan song. That's what it makes me think of.
I just heard Linda Zabrowski come out of you. That's funny. I love that. I love time rips and stuff. I mean, Stephen King, of course, is one of my favorite authors, and he messes with that all the time.
Yeah.
Just like planes on top of each other, which I think I always love that stuff. But yeah, would you go through a rip?
No, I am not curious. If there is one thing you can say about Jackie Zabrowski, I'm not that curious. There's things that I'm curious enough to read a book about something, but I think that if I don't know what do they breathe over there, am I going to be trapped in some sort of corporeal form over there? Am I going to have to eat poop for breakfast in that realm? I don't know.
It's all the same except poop is the food, and then food comes out of your butt.
Oh, no! Yep. But it still tastes like poop! And that's going to be a really difficult realm. So it's like, I don't know what's over there. And I'm all right. I also don't think I'd go to space either.
Oh man.
That's a hot take. I'm very scared.
I just want to see what's further out so badly.
I do one of the skippers, like one of the ones that you go up and you're like, whoa, and then you come back down.
Oh, like
the billionaires
Bezos,
do. Yeah,
wasted all of his
I do
money
one of the
doing?
billionaire things.
Okay, cool.
In case you guys were wondering, I'm scared of space.
Yeah, it's terrifying, but it's awesome.
Oh, yeah. No, much respect.
Love space.
Like, I'm not going into the deep ocean either.
No, but it's also so cool. It is like space down there.
It is. Different space.
Different space. I would, if I didn't have like love and friendships and like beautiful life.
Boring.
I would definitely go through the rip just to see.
Yeah. Just to like, if you weren't attached to anything.
Yeah. Like if there was a phase in my life where I would have absolutely just been like,
peace. And then you became a pelican. What if you were a pelican in that realm? Scooping up fish all day?
Maybe I'd like it better than being a person.
Yeah. You'd be free.
I'd be free. She acknowledges, and also that big flappy bottom of the mouth.
Yeah, the big pouch.
It's like a purse. In your face.
Oh my God, think of all the baubles you could fit in there.
So many. She acknowledges that when she decided to change her form, that she knew she would feel pain and would, quote, burn with want. She said she shoved down her, quote, burning grace deep inside her and stopped being her, and the door just unlocked.
Damn.
Which is cool. And so this is how she says they will need to free the Carver, by binding him into a body to make him Fae, which she doesn't think he will want.
No.
She also says that she cannot unbind herself, that it would have to be done to her. And if she was unbound and became her former self, she wouldn't remember any of them, any of the inner circle, and that her feelings toward them now would hold no sway when she changed back. Basically saying she would do what was natural to her former self and probably kill them.
Yeah. So maybe don't. Maybe leave her where she is.
Yeah, maybe. Nesta asks what she is, and Ammren tells her that she was a messenger and a soldier assassin.
Sick.
For a, quote, wrathful god who ruled the young world.
A messenger, a soldier assassin for a wrathful god who ruled a young world. That's so badass.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Her name was not Ammren back then, but before she can go any further into the story, Elain appears and is startled because the group, as you'll recall, has been shielded into a sound bubble, and so she couldn't hear them or anything, and she's just in her little nightgown, and she's like, oh, because it's late at night, and she tells them she thought she heard something else down, and she's kind of speaking in riddles again at this point. Feyre tries to gently press her about what she may have heard, but Elain begins to retreat back. Before she goes, she tells them she heard someone crying. When they question her, she launches into a series of confusing descriptors saying that she, a mysterious she, is alive, though everyone thinks she's dead, but no further explanation.
With the riddles over here.
And everyone's like, okay. But then Azriel stops her. Azriel, who has begun to form a gentle friendship with Elain.
Is that a kissing friendship?
We'll find out. Azriel, who she responds to, who seems to understand her on some level. She goes on to say, I saw young hands wither with age. I saw a box of black stone. I saw a feather of fire land on snow and melt it. Everyone's like, okay. Except for Azriel. Shadow Singer. It was angry,
Elain said quietly.
It was so angry that something was taken. So it took something from them as punishment.
All right, girls. Keep staring out the window.
Yeah, I guess you should go look at the window some more. We'll learn more about what this means in a bit. But as Feyre's looking to Azriel to explain, because he's the only one who seems to be focused in on what she's saying.
Also, I will say that at this point in the book, while I was reading it, I was just like, we all know she's seeing something. we know she's seeing something. Why is Azriel the only one this reread through of how many times she's just like, thee, I feel the fire, and the fire as it comes. Like, listen to what she's saying.
Maybe it's because they underestimate.
It means something.
I think it could be because they think so little of Elain.
Yeah.
They consider her such a child and this delicate little fragile, flower that they can't possibly imagine that she would be able to have like this power inside of her. That's what I would say about it.
It's just crazy, but it's like they're not around people that are made very often, and now you're around these people that are made. Maybe look into this a little bit more.
Oh, I agree. It's like
Thank you. I just needed to yell about it.
It's like what she said about Grayson. He saw her.
Yes.
Nobody else saw her.
You're right. No one sees this bitch. I see you, Elain. I'm sorry. Now Azriel and I could start kissing because he'd be like, oh my God, you understand her. And I'll be like, yes, I do
Elain.
understand her. Mm-hmm. And then we'll start kissing and then she'll just start banging me up against the wall.
So it just becomes fucking.
Yeah, pretty fast.
Yeah, sure.
But it's just because he respects me so much.
Because of how much you saw Elain.
Yes.
That's cool.
So
I love that.
I'm worth it.
So as Feyre's looking to Azriel to explain, like you just said, instead of looking to Elain, he suddenly winnows away. He had been watching Elain as though her words meant something but didn't explain it to anyone. Interestingly, after he winnows, more stares at the spot he was just occupying, as though she realizes her lost little puppy boy might have found another focus, another female focus.
And how does she feel about that?
I don't know, but she also doesn't just earn a man just following her around, It's like, she can't get that mad about it.
No, and also, like, you've had him do that for, like, generations, wouldn't you want a break? I think that if I, like, at that point, and be like, yeah, dude, I'm just, like, not feeling it with you, I would get old. I think it would get old for someone, like, looking at you with the longing eyes. I'm like, all right, yeah, you long. I see it. All right? How about you move along? Come on. How about you move along? Come on.
Oh, Sammy's here. Well,
but I have a corset on today.
I know you do. You have a beautiful autumn cord corset.
Thank you.
Yeah, and also she does care for him, and wouldn't you want him to be happy and find love? Even though this is kind of a problematic one because she's
got a mate. Yeah, she got a mate.
He does not pick well.
No, he really doesn't. He's got really bad radar.
Yeah. Later that evening, everyone has gone off but Feyre and Nesta. And Feyre asks about what happened at the hewn city wall. She and Ammren were off doing whatever they were doing. Nesta uncharacteristically gives Feyre a brief explanation without being mean immediately.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Big change for her.
Yeah, she's really growing. They tried to use the trove of evil objects as training to get Nesta to be getting used to being able to repel them with her magic. They haven't even gotten to the repairing the wall magic yet. Unfortunately, it didn't go that well for Nesta.
Ooh.
She didn't succeed at all. So instead of Feyre getting yelled at because she knows if she pushes Nesta anymore, she's going to just start being mean, she decides to switch topics to the topic of Elain. Nesta dismisses her in her pessimistic way, saying she's probably gone mad due to being violated and don't bother.
Yeah, just like, if you're going to be so protective, again, this is another thing of like, if you're so protective, wouldn't you be listening to what she's saying rather than just like, no, she's fucked up. She's got all this trauma. Let's not talk about it.
She's underestimating Elain. Because she does treat her like a baby.
Yes.
Her little baby. She's not. She's like 25 in these books. She goes to leave Feyre and heads upstairs. And as she's going up the stairs, Lucien is God, what's the word I was about to say? I don't know what I was just going to say. She goes to leave Feyre and sort of like bustles herself upstairs. And just then, Lucien's starting to come down the stairs and he's like winced at her. He's like,
oh,
Viper. So Nesta sort of like leaves the scene, and then Feyre then instead tries to exchange thoughts with Lucien. He says that she should have a healer look over Elain, that it couldn't hurt. But he doesn't think that she's insane. She simply has trauma.
And it's nice that as her mate that he sees that of like, yeah, I don't think she's crazy. I just think that she needs to deal with the things that have happened to her.
Right.
Because Lucian understands, because he's sensitive, because he's also had a lot gone on with him.
Yeah, and hopefully your partner or your mate or whatever would not immediately just say, "Nah, you got to put her in the asylum. Get her out of here."
If you want to masturbate me and give me a bunch of cocaine so that I'm not hysterical anymore, well, I guess we'll see how it goes.
You got to wonder if some of those women did it on purpose.
Oh, yeah, I'd be insane all the time and be like, oh, put me back in the loony bin.
Yeah, get me away from this betrothed marriage or whatever bullshit. You had
I need to go get masturbated.
I love this insane asylum.
Although I bet the food was horrible.
No, I'm sure for the most part it was a nightmare scenario for everyone. But let's just pretend they were having fun.
Yeah, but what if it was a blast? Like, what if that's what they wanted everyone to think, but in reality, everyone was just like having a blast?
It's like a Club Med vacation.
Yeah. I mean, I know 100% that's not what was happening, and I know that it was actually very bad.
Let's pretend some of them had a good time. So Feyre decides to call for Madja, the family's healer, to come and look at her sister the next day. I always want to say Magda because, again, my brain was destroyed by television, and that is the woman who helps in Sex and the City.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, my God. How can I remember Magda's name but not the late Cynthia Nixon's character?
It's okay. Do you see Samantha's coming back for the next season?
Did.
Oh my God.
They're still not going to interact with each other.
No, of course not. They're not going to be in any of the same scenes. I bet it's all going to be her far away and her just like doing like Zoom calls and shit like that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
sorry. Back to this. We're not in New York City right now.
No.
So she feels deep sorrow and weariness over the fear for her sister. And she goes to sleep that night, and she's awoken in the middle of the night by Rhysand, who was out working later than her. They both exchange thoughts of sadness and regret in the darkness. Rhys is racked with guilt over going over Moore's head, and he tells Feyre that this is why he'd rather take things on by himself sometimes, because he causes pain when he has to use other people. He also admits that if Amarantha, without saying the word Amarantha in their bedroom, he would never... He says that if she would show up at his home, he'd kill her without ever letting her speak. That was his truth, even though he said he would do otherwise.
No.
The next morning, an exhausted Feyre goes to meet Cassian for her fight training. She attempts at flying into the training ring and actually gets a little bit in the air, but doesn't nail the landing and slams into the mountain wall like a Looney Tunes character next to the ring.
I mean, I'm even scared to learn how to ride a bike. I don't think I would be very good at learning how to fly.
I think you could do it.
You think so?
Yeah, I think one day I'm going to get you guys on bikes.
Oh my God. Well, I'm sure that we'll be able to sell at least a couple of episodes of a television show of you trying to teach Henry and I how to ride bicycles.
Let's make it content.
Yeah, I mean, why not? If that's the only way you would get me on a bicycle, is if it's for content.
Okay, well, now it's been said publicly.
Hold me to it.
I will. All of the nation will. So Cassian cracks up as she kind of slams into the side of the mountain, and she gives him the, quote, vulgar gesture. And they use that term a lot, and I always want to kind of wonder what their version of a vulgar gesture is, because I don't think it's just the finger.
Ooh, what if it's like flap wings?
Yeah.
Flap, 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 flap. But that would look so dumb if you went, hey, yeah, F you, flap, 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 flap. Oh, whoa. Natalie's getting violent with her vulgar gestures. I mean, it looks vulgar, whatever it is that you're doing. Oh, just tiny pinky flick off? All right, I like pinky flick off.
That doesn't seem scary.
That doesn't seem scary at all. You're just wincing? Oh, she's claw wincing. Oh, now she's playing peekaboo. That's also a vulgar gesture. Don't you show me when I think there's no one there. Don't just show up.
Trick me. Feyre tells him that she wants to have him basically kick her ass in the training ring that morning. It's her way of dealing with her stress. Later that day, she's with Az doing her flying lesson. She learns that Az and Mor have not really made up since the Hewn City, and he's not in a good mood either. Everybody's kind of being a grumps right now. She feels betrayed that he didn't tell her that he ran into Eris, even though Rhys kept stuff from Azriel too. She always expects kind of Azriel to like be her little puppy.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that movie Pretty in Pink with Ducky.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh wait, is that? Yeah, that's Pretty in Pink.
It's Pretty in Pink.
Yeah.
I always identified as the Ducky character, always in love, and they never love you back.
Who's your Molly Ringwald?
Oh, I'm not going to say his name right now.
Say it.
But he was the one that I was in love with all through, like I met him in 5th grade. I was in love with him through middle school.
Aww.
He took me to my senior prom, and I thought that it was going to be the greatest night of my life. And then he hooked up with somebody else on prom night.
Oh, I thought he was. I thought he was gay. Is he not gay?
No. The one that was my big one. No, he likes women. Now he's married with children.
They're probably disgusting.
No, they look like a beautiful family, and I'm very happy for him. He broke my heart. He broke my heart. We were such good friends.
Yuck.
So that's why I identify as the Ducky.
I think that he's.
You didn't have a Ducky thing? Did you have anyone that you were completely in love with and they never loved you back?
Yeah, his name was Ben. We became friends later on, though, and I was like, I got over it. But yeah, that was my first love, and he was very not interested. But I just constantly did that thing when you're a kid and you just badger, and you just like, I would call him every day after school, and we just like sit on the phone. And I found out later all my friends were making fun of me because I was very, because as a 14-year-old, I thought I was being very slick.
Yeah,
and you literally everybody could tell I was just like, hi, Ben.
Oh,
my little braces.
Oh, you're so cute.
He's a great dude. We're still on good terms and everything.
Oh yeah. How good of terms are you on?
No. Oh no.
I'll bring out the Gimp brother.
No. You don't need to worry about it. So anyway, after her lesson, she returns to the townhouse, and she and Mor have a very sweet sisterly scene where Feyre takes the pastry out of Mor's hand and snatches it and like eats it. Mor tells her that the first responses from the High Lords have arrived about whether or not they are willing to sit in the meeting and discuss the war with Hybern. It turns out that so far, it's Day, Dawn, and Winter Courts. They have agreed to meet with stipulations.
Thank you.
But they've agreed. No one else has responded yet, but also no one has declined, so that's not the worst news. Eris claims that he will ensure his father is there, but they don't know if he's going to hold to that. Feyre broaches this fight from last night that they had when seeing if Mora's okay, and obviously she's not, but she acts like she's fine. But she concedes that she does understand why Rhys did it. But it doesn't resolve her pain of knowing her father intends on ruining her happiness out of sheer spite. She goes on to explain that it jarred her, that Az didn't take her side in the argument. She doesn't say it, but it seems like she's connected to the fact that he was very attentive to Elain.
Girl, you gotta let this lie. You gotta take this as it goes. It's for the best.
Yeah, and I don't think she's being jealous per se, but seems as though she's grown accustomed to Az trying to please her. And it was kind of a shock to her that he didn't do that. But she declares that she won't let the male she hates the most hold her down.
Yes.
Because her happiness is how she will win. And
yes.
That's true. That is true. But sometimes revenge is fun.
Yeah, man, really depends. I mean, we all kind of want to put Eris in the ground, so I get it.
For now.
Yeah. Until I start looking at fan art. Okay.
They share a tender moment of saying that they will be there for each other. And it's really sweet. And it's nice she has this sisterly connection. But then they are interrupted by the healer Madja arriving. A few hours later, she completes her examination and tells Feyre that there's nothing awry inside of Elain. There's no normal Fae curses or plagues or illness.
The healer found nothing. I believed her, if only because Madja was one of the few high fae I'd seen whose dark skin was etched with wrinkles, her hair spindrift fine with age.
She must be real
Damn,
old.
she old.
How old do you think?
Old lady. I'm
Like
surprised she didn't
3,000?
say that when she walked in. Old lady.
It must be weird to see old-looking people in the Fae
When
world.
everybody's so hot and young all the time.
Do you think she's like 3,000 years old?
She's got to be thousands, right?
I imagine. Because even the king of Highburn, who is like an ancient Fae, they said only looks like he's in his 40s.
Yeah, so she must be like,
She
centuries.
old.
She old lady.
Feyre and Nesta sat in the room while she worked on Elain, which sounds like it consisted of doing Reiki over her body.
Yeah.
Find
the winds.
Find the winds. But unlike homeopathic...
We know a lot about Reiki, by the way.
Oh, yeah. But unlike homeopathic con artists of this earth, she actually has a long record of healing Feyre's family of mental and physical ailments. Madja goes on to say that while there is nothing wrong with her physical body, her being Cauldron Maid might make it difficult to ascertain what its magic did to her. Nesta asks her if she thinks there's something wrong with Elain. Madja also asserts that it is likely trauma, that she doesn't like the word wrong. Different, perhaps. Changed, is what she says. And then to Nesta's chagrin, Madja suggests that Lucien make an attempt to help her, that the mating bond can probably delve deeper into her psyche than her healing powers.
Whoa. Let him at her. Oh my God, that'd be so scary because what if he did it wrong?
But, he probably can, he might be the only key, except maybe Azrael is.
Ooh, spicy.
Nesta's pretty pissy about it and tries to demand Feyre just bring another healer in, get a second opinion. But Feyre stands up to her. She says, be quiet. She declares that Lucien will try to help, and if it doesn't work, she will then bring in another healer. Nesta is angry, but she doesn't push back. Mor is also there now, and with Feyre and Mor against her, she knows she can't win this fight. Lucien, who has heard these instructions as well, he looks sheepish, but he agrees to see what he can do. Chapter 29 opens with,
it was the most uncomfortable 30 minutes I could recall.
So, not going great.
Ooh.
Mor and Feyre sit across the room from where Lucien and Elain are set up near a fireplace with a little tea service between them. Neither of them talking or drinking or doing anything, just sort of awkwardly avoiding eye contact. Feyre and Mor, for their part, are kind of trying to look out the window that looks over the front of the house, pretending like they're not there.
Not paying attention over here.
But it's just complete silence. The worst. Feyre wonders if he is trying to access her mind the way Rhys does through their shared adamant walls. So she's like, does Lucien and Elain, do they have the same form of mating connection? Or is it totally different due to Feyre and Rhys's Damati capabilities? She's not sure. Ammren and Nesta are in a nearby room practicing Ammren's magic lessons, but Ammren keeps snapping at Nesta because she's obviously not paying attention to her lessons, trying to see what's going on in this other room. As they sit nearby, both Feyre and Mor are looking out this window, and they spot Rhys and Cassian below. Feyre stops them down the bond, saying that they don't want to startle the process going on, so don't come in right now. Cassian laughs when Rhys conveys this, and then Rhys says that they are going to go get a drink. He asks when he can return without fearing for his life, and both she and Mor flip him off or do the vulgar thing.
Yeah, they flap, 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 flap. Flap, 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 flap. I like our different vulgar gestures.
Yeah, that's the one I like. And that there's a very beautiful, it's such a cinematic scene. Again, she's really good at those sort of visuals, but there's a scene where they're looking down and Cassian's stretching his wings out really wide, and all these little kids are around him going like, wow.
Oh my God, it makes my heart melt.
No. Cassian can get away with anything.
He's so good with kids.
And so then they say they're going to go get a drink. And he also, before he leaves, tells Feyre down the bond that Tarquin has replied, and he's also considering coming. Soon after the females turn back to the room, Elain just starts, and she bolts to standing. Lucien immediately follows her. I'm sorry.
He blurted.
What was that?
Moore put a hand on my knee to keep me from rising, too.
It was a tug on the bond. Then, Nesta's standing in the threshold because she hears something going on. What did you do?
Lucien looked to her, then over to me. A muscle feathered in his jaw.
Nothing,
he said, and again faced his mate.
I'm sorry if that unsettled you.
Elain sidled toward Nesta, who seemed to be at a near simmer.
It felt strange.
Elain breathed.
Like you pulled on a thread tied to a rib.
Lucien exposed his palms to her.
I'm sorry.
Elain only stared at him for a long moment, and any lucidity faded away as she shook her head, blinking twice, and said to Nesta,
Twin ravens are coming, one white and one black.
Okay, she was here for a second, now she's gone. But again, you know what? Don't pay attention to what she's got to say.
Get her to her window.
Just let her have her tea. Let her stare.
Which is what Nesta does, essentially. She kind of ushers Elain out of the room like she is a child. And Lucien...
Listen to her!
And Lucien explains what just happened, that he followed the string of the bond, and when he got to her end is when she jumped. He didn't find anything of use at that point. Lucien then notices the pile of letters from the High Lords that Moore and Feyre were sitting near, and he offers suggestions about where might be the most neutral of settings, as he's guessed correctly that they are already bickering about it, all the High Lords. He and Moore decide to settle over a map as Feyre leaves to return Nesta to Ammren.
A map like this one? Yeah, please.
I would forget to pull my pointer out.
I mean, where would even be a good place to go where they all feel safe?
Where's my pointer?
Show us on the map, Natalie.
There you are. Well, I don't know. You would think like, oh, maybe in the middle, but then that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the most neutral of places. It seems like a lot of people don't have issues with Dawn and Day Court. Like, I don't know anything about them being, like, bastards.
Yeah.
But it's really close to the Night Court, which probably Rhys wouldn't want.
Yeah. This is going to be... They're going to argue about this.
But
I'm not looking at Aerys fan art now.
Yes, you are.
Yes, I am looking at Aerys fan art right now. Oh, it's a lot of Asriel and Aerys kissing.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
It is Pride Month.
Yes. See, I have to be looking at these things. It's for
being an ally or being a part of the community.
Yes. So this I'm doing my part. You're welcome.
Yeah. I hope everybody claps for you.
Join me, won't you? Look up Aerys and Asriel fan art. There's a lot of them kissing and making fuck.
I hope I'm not misremembering, but there is, I want to say it's After Darkness, and I apologize if it's another artist, but they did do a very graphic three-way between the bad boys.
What? What?
Yeah. I hope I'm not misremembering which Patreon it is.
All right,
if I mess it up, I will correct it in a later episode.
Yes.
So
Just should start kissing. Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, all right. Hey. I'm back. I'm looking. I'm here. Dude, that's what you need the pointer for. Just like wrap me on the hands. My sexuality.
Yeah, that's gonna give you some kind of weird wires crossing.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
2 days later, Feyre is back at her flying lessons, and as she's there trying not to crash into trees, she notes that Asriel's quiet sense of humor has returned after it appears as though he and Mor have made up a sort of amends. They've all been busy the last few days preparing for all that is to come. Lucien has proved adept at helping organize the Lord's meetup, and Rhysand seems to have grown more respect for him because of it. Feyre herself has been combing the library for anything to help with the wall, and also trying to learn about the Ouroboros. About anything, really, that will help her get it without going mad. She has not found anything.
Really difficult to have a mirror that I can't look in front of, because I am definitely one of those people that stares into a mirror if I am around a mirror. And then we're all going to go batty. But maybe it would be kind of fun if we brought it into the house and we all went batty.
As like a fun bonding
exercise? It's like, the whole Zabrowski family has gone mad.
Cool. Then somebody else gets to take care of us.
Oh, that would be cute.
Yeah. I'm tired. Somebody, please.
Somebody, please.
Give me a mirror that will make me go mad. But she has not had any luck at finding any sort of tricks. So now she is trying to instead focus on her flying instead of going through the library. Asriel has encouraged her to launch from a pretty high spot, and though she's not confident, she does so with his urging, and she crashes. And she fucks herself up pretty badly, enough that she and Az rest on a rock for the rest of the afternoon to talk. So she's gotten like stuff stuck in her hand, she's bleeding, she like bashed herself into a really big tree. While they sit, she questions whether or not she'll be able to fly by the war. Az is honest, probably not. She feels defeated. But then Asriel starts to talk about his own experience learning flying, how he had to start late because of everything, and that it was considered shameful to be learning at his age.
I understand. It's just like me with the bikes.
Yeah, it is just like
we would also bond over that.
But guess what? He learned how to fly.
I know, and that means I have to learn how to ride a bike.
Yeah. You'll like it. It's really fun. But he decided, even though it was shameful, he didn't back down, even when no one wanted to help him. He started to teach himself. Cassian, who back then was quite a brute, found him trying to learn, and he beat the crap out of him. But then right away immediately offered to teach him, because even though he was filled with all of this anger as a young boy, he was also still good in his heart.
Still him.
Then the next day he came back with Rhysand. The two of them taught him how to fly in the end.
Oh, God, I love them.
I know. He says later on, after the war, Rhysand returned to Asriel with a story. He wanted to tell him about something that happened during the war, something that maybe Rhys wanted him to hear so he wouldn't feel so alone. The story he tells is about Miriam and Drakon, who the Bat Boys knew at this point were not dead, even though people thought they were because they were out hiding on Cretea, their island. Cretea. I'm going to say Cretea.
Great.
So Asriel learns from Rhys the story of their escape. And it's obvious to me, I'm assuming people would agree, that it is pulling from the Moses myths from the Bible, this storytelling and the parting of the Red Sea and the wandering in the desert for 40 years stuff. So it's very similar in that after the human slaves were freed from the evil queen, Miriam takes them away and leads them across a desert, nearly 50,000 of them, all the way to the shores of the Etherean Sea. And during that time, Drakon's army was around them, sort of like providing cover. And when they got to the sea, they realized the ships that they had arranged for were destroyed by their enemies. And she sent her armies to drag her slaves back because she was not accepting of having the humans be freed from the Fae.
But what are they supposed to do? They're nut to butt up against the ocean.
What will they do?
Bum, bum, bum.
So when they realized that was happening, Drakon's legion is seraphim, which are winged fae, but feathered like birds. Seraphim is also a biblical reference, a form of angel in both the Christian and Jewish Bible.
Is that the crazy angels with all the eyes?
No, but it is the definition of a seraphim in the Bible. They have 6 wings apiece.
Sick.
But the one with the eyes is really scary. That's a different level of angel.
We made one of those biblically accurate angels for our Christmas tree topper.
No, that
was
the best idea.
So I highly recommend it for you if you want a little Christmas project rather than just putting a star up there. Put a biblically accurate angel on it.
They're so scary.
Yeah.
Love it. There's also a form of seraph in Islam, but in the religious context, again, they're just in the So obviously the seraphim in Sarah J. Maas's books only have 2 wings, but they have 6 wings in the Bible. And also, I don't know if this is a connection to Hunt Athalar.
Hunt Athalar.
His race isn't called Seraphim, but he got the wings.
That's from Crescent City, for those of you that have not gone into the Massiverse yet.
I'm trying not to reference Crescent City too much, but when there's like a little connection, you got to do it.
Oh, yeah.
So in Prithian...
No, the second I saw this, I was just like, oh, Hunt.
In the Prithian version, the Seraphim Legion use their powers to part the sea so that the humans can run forth. And just like that's basically the story of the parting of the Red Sea. So the Seraphim use their magic and they split the sea in half and all of the humans start running through. And Miriam didn't want to go until each single one had gotten past, so she was at the very back. And the queen's armies are chasing them also at the same time. So the armies are also going to the bottom of the sea. The Seraphim only had a certain amount of strength to keep the sea parted. And as they were about to send the sea crashing back down, there was a massive battle on the seafloor. And Jacon thought one of his soldiers had grabbed Miriam and taken her out. But in actuality, the queen of the opposing force had attacked Miriam. And they were both still on the ocean floor with her armies. But there was this young seraphim cartographer named Nefel. And she actually saw the queen attack Miriam while they were both still on the ocean floor. So Jacron doesn't know, and he's not close enough to get to her. But Nefel thought maybe that she could. She was a cartographer for the army because of her small, somewhat deformed wings.
She couldn't fly.
She was deemed not strong enough for the military. Even that's where her hope was. But she found use for herself in other ways. And she and Miriam in the interim had become BFFs. So she had an eye on Nefel. And I was like, by the way, just looking for a connection to the name Nefel. And there's not really anything. It kind of means cloudy, but I doubt that is why.
Maybe she had a chance of meatballs.
Meatballs. I do know that the name Nephi occurs in the Book of Mormon solely because of the Lori Vallow killing everybody.
Oh, no.
That's a serial killer.
Oh, no.
But I don't think that's why Sarah J. Maas.
Probably not.
I don't think so.
The cartographer with the heart of gold. I don't know if she's based off of this.
No, or like the Book of Mormon in general.
Yeah.
Anyway,
this is not Twilight, please.
Yeah, right. So obviously I'm not a biblical scholar. I'm just pulling what I know. Oh, you think I am?
Yes, you're so good at it.
Oh my God, that's bad if you think I'm a biblical scholar.
That just goes to show how little I know about the Bible.
Oh, so I can just convince you.
You can say whatever. Okay. Whatever you want.
Cool. So Nefel was the closest to Miriam and flew to the ocean shore as the walls were about to crash in. And Miriam said, "Save yourself." But she said, "No, I will not leave you." So instead, she picked up Miriam and launched into the air as fast as her little wings would carry them.
But you know she's not as strong as the other seraphim.
But her desire to save her, allowed her to use super strength to carry Miriam out. And just so happens that all of the seafloor topography and all of its rock formations, her wings were so small that they were able to navigate in a way that the other seraphim wouldn't have been able to at that speed. They fit through. And she made it out with Miriam on death's door. And so Nefel, who had been ignored, who had been considered to be kind of too scrawny to be in the army, she saved the leader's lover. And so Azriel goes on to tell Feyre that her 2 small wings, they didn't fail her. Not once, not for one wing beat.
Oh, I love this story.
Azriel tells her that he and the Bat Boys refer to this as the Nefel philosophy, that Rhys told him that is to remind him that occasionally our greatest weaknesses can sometimes be our biggest strengths.
Oh my God.
And he goes on to say that the most unlikely person can alter the course of history.
Even me?
Yeah, even you.
Wow.
But you're not unlikely. I think that you are
very likely
to change the course of
Everyone says that about me. Well-behaved women rarely make history. I don't know if you guys have heard that before. I made it up just now.
That's really brilliant. Yeah. You should put it on a sticker.
Yeah, okay. I'll put it on a coaster.
Oh, yeah.
For all of our drinks.
For when we're having Wine Wednesdays.
Yes. Again, we should be hammered for one of these episodes.
I don't know how I could do this episode. It would be so chaotic. This is us just on caffeine.
Lots of it.
He goes on to say that Miriam and Drakon go on to hold a competition every year on their island called the Nefel Run. And that Nefel and her wife crown a winner every year. So he says basically, Feyre, we're going to train until the last moment because you never know what extra moment will make the last difference. So Feyre, despite being beat up and exhausted, says, let's try again.
Oh,
perseverance.
I love perseverance. It makes me want to cry.
That night she gets back to her room, exhausted, body shredded, so unable to lift a limb. And Rhys is already there at his work desk. Seeing her condition, he draws her a bath and goes and retrieves some oils. We're then treated to a very lovely sex scene that you will hear sometime in the future.
After slamming into the ground over and over and over again during the day, I would hope that this is one of those times where it's okay to be a pillow princess and just let your partner take care of you instead.
Oh, he likes it anyway.
Of course he loves it.
God. He loves it.
Please.
The next day, Feyre says she's taking the day off from training despite Cassian's protests because he's a tough coach.
Mm-hmm.
But she shoos him off, and instead she decides she wants to take Nesta to the big library inside the mountain. At breakfast that morning, Feyre discovers that Nesta has exhausted all of her reading materials about her form of magic, potentially, and she had needed to find more about repairing the wall. So Feyre asks Cassian, who's there with Azriel, to check on her after she canceled today, to fly Nesta from the townhouse to the House of Wind, because they're all having breakfast together, basically, at the townhouse.
Cute.
And Nesta bristles at them at the idea of Cassian taking her up to the House of Wind. But Elain says to Cassian, he snapped your wings, broke your bones.
Girl.
Jesus.
Girl.
They're
and
just trying to have
no
breakfast.
one listens.
Can we just, are we just going to be talking in riddle? Are we just having all of our intrusive thoughts come out now? Because she's obviously referring to when they were at the castle. And Cassian's just having a muffin.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't need to be reminded of that.
He probably hasn't had coffee yet. Give him some time.
Ugh. Feyre tries to escort Elain out to the garden, but
let's get her out here. Let's wheel her out to the garden.
But Azriel volunteers.
Oh.
He offers her his arm. Yep.
Oh, does he?
And escorts her out. Dangerous waters here, buddy.
But ones I wanna swim in.
Yeah. I like the danger. Nesta glares after them but doesn't say anything.
Cassian finished the muffin, licking his fingers. I could have sworn Nesta watched the entire thing with a sidelong glance. He grinned at her as if he knew it, too.
Ready for some flyingness? All she says is, don't call me that.
Don't call me that.
Yeah,
it's definitely that.
But that only delights Cassian that he's found something to annoy her. Feyre laughs and winnows away to the House of Wind, letting them deal with getting Nesta up there. Soon after, Cassian touches down with Nesta and she strides off without looking back. He watches her.
His hands clenched and slackened at his sides, as if he were trying to loosen the feel of her from his palms.
Ooh.
Cute.
Feyre thanks him, but he launches into the sky without a word.
Yeah, he's all horned up.
Yeah, and also probably sad because he wants a grip on her.
Yeah, but he can't. Oh, we can't catch her. She's covered in pus.
Slip. Ew.
In my head, it was like a cocoon out, like she's a butterfly. So she's covered in her own pus. Yeah.
Fluid?
Like making fluid.
Oh, like she's going to become the butterfly?
Yeah, so she's in the cocoon and she's all like
slimy,
getting made.
Okay. No, I get it now.
Thank you. You get me.
Soon, Nesta and Feyre are walking the dim halls to the library, deep inside the mountain. Nesta shows no outward emotion at the massive library as she and Feyre walk through the winding rows. Feyre gently asks how Nesta knew what to look for in regards to patching up the wall within her own magic. Nesta says she just does. She doesn't know how, but she just can sense it. Feyre thinks that maybe she does know a little bit more about it, but doesn't enjoy the feeling of exposing her thoughts and being vulnerable.
I didn't push. Even as I stared at her for a long moment, I didn't know how to broach that subject, how to ask if she was all right, if I could help her. I had never been affectionate with her. I'd never held her, kissed her cheek. I didn't know where to begin.
Nesta doesn't speak anymore as they walk, but Feyre quietly gives her information about the history of the library and why the priestesses are here. She notes that the dark pit on her right as they spiral downward seems to grow thicker.
But we reached a path of stacks that veered into the mountain in a long hall, fey lights flickering into life within glass globes along the wall as we passed. Nesta scanned the shelves while we walked, and I read the titles, a bit more slowly, still needing a little time to process what was instinct for my sister.
I just thought that imagery was really beautiful.
Yeah.
But then we get a surprising statement from Nesta.
Oh my God, is she being a human being?
Kind of. She says, I didn't know you couldn't really read. And it's sort of that's kind of on you, isn't it, Nesta?
Yeah, dude.
You never once thought to ask Feyre if she could read?
You never noticed in all of those years that she could, that's something you're going to notice from somebody.
I mean, if you care at all, never once asked if she'd ever read a book before? Too busy waiting for her to bring you dinner, Nesta?
Yeah.
Feyre seems also irritated with this statement. Well, I couldn't. Nesta asks her why she didn't tell her sisters, and Feyre says,
I trailed a finger over the neat row of spines.
Because I doubted you would agree to help.
Nesta stiffened like I'd hit her, coldness blooming in those eyes.
Maybe it's that Nesta's asked her anything about herself. Maybe it's being under the mountain in the dark, but she feels emboldened to ask, why do you push everyone away but Elain?
Damn!
And it seems like for a moment, Nesta's about to answer in some way that maybe isn't just a snide remark when something happens. Something ripples through the air that they don't quite understand. They look towards the pathway that they just walked down, and the fey lights start to extinguish one by one, heading their way. Uh-oh. Feyre knows immediately that they are in danger. She realizes she doesn't have anything but the one Illyrian knife with her, and that their fey powers don't really work at full capacity down here. Winnowing gets funny in the library. All she says to Nesta is, run. She grabs Nesta's arm and they launch themselves away from the growing darkness. She panics as pulling Nesta along in her gown with no exercise to speak of has slowed them down substantially, and Nesta's body's not prepared to do something like this. She tries Rhys down the bond. Nothing responds back. She wonders if it's also muffled from being inside the warded mountain. As Feyre and Nesta approach the end of the pathway, they have the option of going left or right. one leading up with the lights guttering out rapidly, and the one that leads down towards the bottom of the pit.
Oh no, but we don't know what's at the bottom of the pit.
Sometimes leap in the net will appear. I just wrote that.
Oh, that's good.
I didn't write that.
Oh.
That's an old... I actually don't know who said that first. It's probably Nietzsche.
Yeah.
Somebody.
It's better than Snatchy. Yeah, you jump, you gonna fall. That's what Snatchy says.
Oh, Snatchy the philosopher.
Yeah, it's like Nietzsche, but Snatchy. I think it's coming out of my pussy, but I'm not sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's see. She decides in that moment to run right towards the bottom. On the way, she makes the decision to try to winnow them both out.
Right as the darkness behind us paused, and 2 high fae stepped out of it, both male. One dark-haired, one light, both in gray jackets embroidered with bone-white thread. I knew their coat of arms on their upper right shoulder, knew their dead eyes.
Hybern. They have infiltrated Valaris.
Oh my god!
She thinks, fuck this, and grabs Fernesta's arm. But just then, the men blow Fabane dust all over the both of them. Both sisters' magic dies immediately. Feyre then notices the priestess on this level is slumped on the ground behind the males. The males quickly explain in villain speak that they easily entered the library because they hid themselves as scholars.
No!
Nesta asks them who they are.
The white-haired one smiled broadly as they approached.
We're the king's ravens. Oh, sorry. We're the king's ravens. His far-flying eyes and talons. And we've come to take you back. Ha 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 ha. Ravens, you say?
Ravens, you say? Interesting. Was someone just murmuring while they stared out a window about ravens and nobody listened?
Always listen at the nonsense. That's what you should do. Feyre tries again and again to reach Rhys, but she can't hear him at all. The ravens tell the sisters that the king wants what Nesta took from the cauldron back. It's then that Feyre realizes that it's whatever Nesta took from it that is preventing the king from shattering the wall.
Sick.
Feyre weighs her options. There aren't many, but one that sticks out. She stares at her sister and tries to get her to understand that she needs to trust her without words.
I said to them,
"You've made a grave mistake coming here to my house."
They sniggered. I gave them a returning smirk as I said,
"And I hope it rips you into bloody ribbons."
Then I ran, hauling Nesta with me, not toward the upper levels, but down into the eternal blackness of the pit at the heart of the library, and into the arms of whatever lurked inside it.
She's crazy. That's why she's High Lady.
Yeah, man, because she goes there. She's like the N. That's like Degrassi. Degrassi goes there.
Oh, Degrassi.
Yeah.
Aw.
The N was the channel and said the N goes there, and then it also said Degrassi goes there.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm talking about, I guess it's
Whatever it
Degrassi.
takes.
Excuse me, it's Degrassi.
I know I can make it through.
I know I can make it through.
Faye Degrassi would be cool.
Oh, I wonder what kind. They would have very different teen problems.
They would. So they run and they run. Feyre knows that soon a priestess will see something's wrong and get to Rhys, but she also knows they have only moments to spare before the men catch them. They are about to reach the level where the Fey lights stop completely, the pit. But they don't stop, and the ravens continue to follow and taunt them. Do you know what happened to them, the queens? Feyre drags Nesta further and further into the pitch black. The youngest one, that pinched-faced bitch.
Whoa.
Maybe they're New Yorkers. Went into the cauldron first.
Whoa, it's Soprano version.
Practically trampled the others to get in there after it saw what it did to you and your sister.
Oh, no. Maybe what lives down there is Snooki. Maybe that's
that
what's
is
in the
what
pit.
the darkness
is. Sammy knew.
All right, I'm going to try to do her voice. Feyre tells Nesta that she must run in no matter what, that if Feyre falls, that she must continue on into the darkness. The ravens tell them that the cauldron knew something was stolen from it, and it decided to punish the next one in. Oh, it gave her immortality. It made her Fae. But since something had been taken from it, the cauldron took what she valued most, her youth.
They sniggered again.
A young woman went in, but a withered crone came out.
And from the catacombs of my memory, Elaine's voice sounded.
I saw young hands wither with age. Twin ravens are coming.
Elain had known, sensed it, had tried to warn us.
Yay, Elain isn't crazy.
Yes, thank you.
That's good to know. The sisters have now reached the very most bottom and the ground is leveled out, but they are completely blind. Feyre feels with her outstretched hands that there are moldy ancient texts down here. Chaotic stacks of books are all around them. The ravens continue to taunt them, and Feyre has an idea. She responds to them, insulting the king, and under her breath tells Nesta to look towards the ceiling and run towards the light that she can see at the very tip top. Run!
I breathed.
Please.
She hesitated.
Please.
I begged her, my voice breaking. Nesta squeezed my hand once, and between one breath and the next, she bolted to the side, toward the center of the pit, the light high above.
She uses the distraction of Nesta to start pushing over stacks of books, blocking herself in and Nesta out. She flails her arms around trying to get her bearings, looking for a wall. In her pursuit, the ravens have lost her in the dark for a moment. Feyre calls out to whatever lives down here. Please help.
A soft voice whispered in my ear.
You the high lady? Are you the high lady?
I think that's Jerry Lewis.
No, that's not good. I forget her voice. Are you the high lady?
Yeah.
High lady.
High lady.
All right, I'll do the not Snooki. You are the high lady.
The voice was both young and old, hideous and beautiful.
Yes,
I whispered.
She pleads again, and then the thing asks, what shall you give me? It becomes clear that Feyre is speaking out loud, and the thing is in her head as the ravens are heard asking who she's speaking to.
Uh-oh, she gone cuckoo bananas, mate.
Maybe. The creature goes on to tell Feyre that the stone speaks, and it's heard of her desire to trade with the carver. Feyre's like, yeah, I did, but can we wrap this up because I'm going to die?
Yeah,
so
dude.
What do you want? And it says, company. Send me company.
I opened my mouth, but then said,
to eat?
A laugh that made my skin crawl.
To tell me of life.
Whoa.
She says,
she just wants some friends.
She wants some friends. She says that it's a bargain, and she feels a tingling on her arm where a bargain tattoo is being formed.
Man, for someone that is told over and over again, don't make bargains, because people around here, they're really good at, like, sticking the bargains to you. She just keeps making bargains.
She does, but the last one got her reason,
yes.
So, you know, she's kind of just like yes-anding.
Yeah, I guess.
The creature asks if it should kill them, and Feyre says yes. Suddenly, the ravens appear from a corner. They have a ball of Phaelite over their shoulder, and they grin as they spot Feyre. And then they see whatever is behind her.
Absolute, unfiltered terror filled their faces at what stood behind me.
Close your eyes.
The thing purred in my ear.
And then the screaming begins.
Sick.
All the kind of fun horror movie sounds, all the squishing and squelching.
Yeah.
But Feyre doesn't think it's fun.
I guess if it was like happening right in front of me, I'd probably also be like, oh, it's going to get on me.
Especially if you open your eyes, it could be like make you insane.
Yeah, which is sick.
Yeah. So it's like in Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Whenever they look at
Short round.
No. When they look at when the Nazis' faces melt off.
Oh yeah, snakes.
Snakes.
Was that why it had to be snakes?
Why is it always gotta be snakes?
Oh man, these snakes! And you look at them and my face melts off.
Yeah. All this, so she's shaking and she's squeezing her eyes shut. Then, sorry.
How dare you? Then there were warm, rough hands on me, dragging me away. And Cassian's voice at my ear saying,
"Don't look. Don't look."
I didn't. I let him lead me away. Just as I felt Rhys arrive, felt him land on the floor of the pit so hard the entire mountain shuddered. Oh, that just makes me think of when he came so hard the mountain shuddered.
I hope he wasn't coming for this. That'd be weird.
Yeah, that would be. I mean, who knows? Sometimes
people got things.
You get slippery, you get hard. You don't know why. It just happens.
Just maybe the idea of saving his mate.
Aw.
But no, he's very angry.
Oh.
There's rage on his face, and he commands Cassian to get them out. Feyre tries to get to Rhys, but he's gone. He's gone to deal with the ravens. Cassian grabs both sisters and zips into the sky to the top of the library. At the start of chapter 32, the sisters are sitting in the House of Wind above the library, shaking, as Cassian gives them both big glasses of brandy to calm their nerves.
Yeah.
Yay.
Although just sipping, I'm not a brandy sipper myself, so I think I'd be like, can I have some water?
After that, you wouldn't want to have a little bit of liquor?
I mean, I guess, but like, give me like, a tequila shot or something, I just feel like brandy, it's gonna just sit at the bottom of my stomach.
Yeah, but sometimes you take what you take.
That is also true. If a booze is needed, a booze is a booze.
A booze is a booze. And a snooze is a snooze.
Oh, don't even get me started.
So, shortly after this, Rhysand appears, covered in blood. Feyre thinks he looks like he's ripped the Malphase apart with his bare hands.
Awesome.
He says that there isn't a sign that the actual king made it to Valaris. But then he notices something on Feyre's arm, the new tattoo. The band of black around her forearm, solid except for 2 little notches. He asks her with dread in his voice what she promised the thing in the library. She tells him, but then says it didn't specify when. So let's just circle back to it.
Yeah, just give me friends like whenever you can.
Rhys says that the ravens were alive enough to look into their minds, and then he finished them off. He turns to Nesta. He wants to know what she took from the cauldron. I don't know.
The words were barely more than a whisper.
Even Ammren can't figure it out. She seems to be being honest here.
I mean, in this time, we kind of need it at this, Come on, help us out here, Nesta.
Yeah. And then Nesta looks to Feyre and says with surprise, "You told me to run." And Feyre says, "Yeah, you're my sister." Like, Nesta just doesn't understand, like, caring for herself.
Yeah.
But as she recalls this time, Nesta went to the wall to try to find her, that there are these moments that she does show love. She just doesn't know how. But she did try to go save Feyre. A little too late.
Yeah.
But, she's trying. Rhys is obviously rattled that the king has found his way into his city. Feyre realizes that he is so shaken that he had killed the ravens outright when he normally would have kept them for Azriel to interrogate. But yet, he thinks that maybe this is because the king isn't so confident, that it was a great risk to infiltrate the city, and that he must have really felt that he needed to do it.
Mm-hmm.
When Feyre asks how he found them, he tells her that Clotho has a special ward that she can trigger like a bell when something is wrong.
Sick.
And it goes out to all the inner circle. They get like some kind of alarm. Warning, library.
Get your ass to the library. That would be a fun alarm.
It would be. Cassian got there first, and then Rhys sends the memory that Cassian gave to Rhys out to Feyre. We enter Cassian's memory, feel his panic and anger as he barrels towards the bottom of the library. He sees Nesta first, running towards him in terror, and he can barely breathe.
He said nothing as Nesta launched herself toward him, her dress filthy and disheveled, her arms stretching for him. He opened his own for her, unable to stop his approach, his reaching. She gripped his leathers instead.
Feyre!
She rasped, pointing behind her with a free hand, shaking him solidly with the other. Strength. Such untapped strength in that slim, beautiful body.
Highburn! Feyre pulls away from the memory, and Rhys then tries to lighten the mood slightly by making a joke about punishing people by sending them down to talk to the thing in the pit to fulfill Feyre's bargain. Then he tells them to get it around the town that there is a curfew tonight, or at least a stern suggestion to stay off the streets past sundown, because Ammren will be hunting.
Whoa.
Later on there, all together in the townhouse, gathered for a meeting that has been called, even Elain. When they are all present, Rhys tells them that the priestesses have been sworn to secrecy about what happened that day, that it's important to keep this information from the other courts, so that they don't doubt that they should be aligned with the Night Court. The people of Valaris won't know either, only that Ammren is out doing official court business. Moore points out that right now they don't have any allies anyway, aside from Keir. But then Elain says, the Queen might come. Oh, the Riddler's back.
Please, give us some more clues, bitch.
When they ask what she means, she says, the one who was cursed. Feyre thinks she's referring to the one that they just learned of, the one who's been withered into a crone. No.
Elain studied me, then her.
Not that one. The other. Everyone's about to go, okay, honey, let's go get you to your herb garden.
Let's take her to a window. Let her stare a little bit more.
Except Asriel.
Of course.
No, he wants to know which one she's talking about.
Elaine's brows twitched toward each other.
The Queen, with the feathers of flame.
What?
Lucien seems inclined to think that she's having a spell, so her mate is like, oh, you're sick. Do you need something? She doesn't need anything.
Asriel answered without so much as looking at Lucien.
We are the ones who need.
Asriel trailed off.
A seer,
he said, more to himself than us.
The Cauldron made you a seer. We've got a seer and a love triangle.
A love triangle.
I'm listening.
What does she see in her future? I'm sorry, what seed does she have
planted in her garden?
Seed, yeah, seeds in there. She's gonna have sex at some point, and that's gonna be really great.
She better. That would be so disappointing if she never has sex. Yeah, so that was a little bit telling that Lucien didn't seem to know what she wanted, and then Asriel steps in, and he also kind of shuts down Lucien. Eek.
They could fight over her, though, with kissing, if they want. I'll be the judge.
Kiss battle?
It's a kiss battle.
Like, do they kiss each other?
They kiss each other, they also kiss me. And I'm the judge of the kiss battle, so I will judge who's the best at it.
Okay.
So
I'm sure Elain will be really grateful.
She'll understand. She's so busy seeing, she's not looking.
Wow. That was profound.
Thank you. Snatching.
Oh, that's your Jackie Snatchy?
Yeah, I'm like Nietzsche.
Jackie Snatchy. And we're about almost 50% through book 3 now.
Whoa.
Yep, we're going to pass over 50% next episode.
Yes.
So hold on to your britches.
Because this book goes like madhouse.
It is a lot of action.
Yes.
Very exciting. Yeah, I gotta take this wig off. I mean, my real hair. I need to take
your real hair off.
Real hair off.
Well, I guess I gotta go. I gotta get to shaving my sister-in-law. So I guess we'll see you guys next week.